Genghis Khan, 1218. He sends a trade caravan to the Khwarezmian Empire. The governor seizes the goods and kills the traders. Genghis sends diplomats to negotiate. The Shah shaves their heads and beheads the interpreter. That was the last mistake anyone in that empire ever made. Genghis deployed 200,000 troops, burned every city in his path, and when he found the governor, he poured molten silver into his eyes and ears. He killed an estimated 40 million people, roughly 11% of the entire world's population at the time. He built the largest contiguous land empire in human history. And here's the wildest stat. Roughly 1 in 200 men alive today are his direct descendants. When he died, his funeral procession killed every living thing they encountered on the road, so no one would know where he was buried. His grave has never been found. 800 years later, his name is still the first word people think of when they hear conqueror. God-tier, Adolf Hitler, the most infamous name in modern history, and yet failed art student. Rejected twice by the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. His personal doctor injected him with methamphetamine almost every day for the last years of his life. He was a vegetarian who was terrified of dentists. He started a war that killed 70 million people and ended it by killing himself in a basement while his country burned around him. Everyone knows his name? But take away the name and what do you actually have? A tweaking art school reject who ended it all in a bunker. He's the guy who peeked in his group chat and then raged. F tier. Napoleon Bonaparte, 1815. He's been exiled to the island of Elba. Beaten, done. He was there for less than a year before he got bored. He just left, sailed back to France with 1,000 men. The king sent an entire army to arrest him. Napoleon walked straight up to the line of soldiers, unbuttoned his coat and yelled, "Soldiers of the 5th, do you recognize me? Here I am. Kill your emperor if you wish." Dead silence. Then a soldier broke ranks. "Long live the emperor." The entire army switched sides on the spot. He reconquered France without firing a single shot. That's not a military victory, that's a man running on pure aura. S tier. Augusto Pinochet staged a coup in Chile in 1973, ruled for 17 years, and the only thing anyone on the internet knows about him is that he threw people out of helicopters. That's it. That's the whole Pinochet conversation. No iconic quotes, no legendary moments, just helicopters. He's the one-hit wonder of dictators. C tier, Saddam Hussein, 1979. He's standing in front of the entire Ba'ath Party leadership. He lights a cigar. Then he starts reading names off a list. One by one, each name is dragged out of the room. Some of them are crying. Some are begging. The men still sitting start clapping and pledging loyalty, not because they want to, but because they know if they don't, their name might be next. The room went from a political meeting to a hostage situation in 10 minutes. One of the most chilling pieces of footage ever recorded. And then, decades later, the most powerful man in Iraq was found hiding in a dirt hole in the ground with a matted beard looking like he hadn't showered in a month. From a cigar in a palace to a spider hole in a farm. A tier. Muammar Gaddafi. When rebels raided his compound in 2011, they found a photo album dedicated entirely to Condoleezza Rice, just photos of her. In a TV interview, he called her "my darling black African woman" and said, "I love her very much." When she visited Libya, he played her a video montage of herself set to a song he had commissioned called "African Flower in the White House." She called it weird and a bit creepy. He crowned himself King of Kings of Africa. Most African nations just ignored it. In 1987, he sent his army into Chad and got beaten by guys in Toyota pickup trucks. It's literally called the Toyota War. He tried to pitch a Bedouin tent in Central Park. New York said no. He tried New Jersey, also no. He ended up pitching it on a property owned by Donald Trump. He was found hiding in a drainage pipe. That's not a dictator. That's your weird uncle who won't stop commenting on celebrities' Instagram photos. F tier. Joseph Stalin, June 22nd, 1941. Nazi Germany invades the Soviet Union. The largest military invasion in history is crossing the border, and nobody in Stalin's inner circle dares wake him up to tell him. His own generals were more afraid of him than of the Nazi army at the door. He doctored photographs to erase people he'd had executed, literally deleted people from history. When his son Yakov was captured by the Nazis and they offered a prisoner exchange, Stalin said, "I will not trade a marshal for a lieutenant." About his own son. His last act on Earth was pointing at a painting of a girl feeding a lamb. Nobody has ever figured out why. S tier, Kim Jong-il. According to North Korean state media, he shot 11 holes in one the first time he ever played golf, witnessed by 17 bodyguards. He never used a toilet because his body was too pure to produce waste. He invented the hamburger. He kidnapped a South Korean film director and forced him to make a North Korean Godzilla knockoff. On paper, that's a legendary resume, but every single detail was written by his own propaganda team. That's not aura, that's fan fiction about yourself. B tier, Vlad the Impaler, 1462. The Ottoman army is marching toward his capital. They get to the outskirts and find 20,000 bodies impaled on stakes lining both sides of the road. The Sultan's army turned around and went home. An entire military campaign ended because of landscaping. He's the reason Dracula exists. The most famous monster in fiction came from this guy. He used to eat dinner in front of his impaled victims, just sitting there with a meal while people died on stakes around him. His nickname is literally the Impaler. And yeah, he earned it. A tier. Benito Mussolini invaded Greece in 1940 with an army that had 107 of the 1,750 trucks it actually needed. Got pushed back into Albania within months, had to be personally rescued by Hitler. His big claim to fame was making the trains run on time. They didn't. That was already happening before he took power. He ended up hung upside down at a gas station in Milan next to his mistress while crowds spat on him and pelted him with vegetables. That's not a dictator's ending. That's a piñata's ending. F tier. Mao Zedong. In 1958, he declared war on sparrows because they ate grain seeds. The entire country killed sparrows. With no sparrows, the locust population exploded. The locusts ate the crops. The resulting famine killed somewhere between 15 and 55 million people. He started the deadliest famine in human history by losing a fight with birds. Then at 72, state media claimed he swam the Yangtze River at record speed. Whether you love him or hate him, everything this man did was at a scale nobody else could touch. A tier, Pol Pot, killed roughly 25% of Cambodia's entire population in 4 years. He emptied every city in the country. He made wearing glasses a death sentence because it suggested you were educated. And yet, no quotes, no iconic moments, no personality whatsoever. Nobody in modern history killed a higher percentage of their own people, and he has the charisma of a substitute teacher. C tier. Idi Amin. His official title, and this is real, was His Excellency, President for Life, Field Marshal Al-Haji Dr. Idi Amin Dada, VC DSO MC CBE, Lord of all the beasts of the earth and fishes of the seas, and conqueror of the British Empire in Africa in general and Uganda in particular. He also declared himself the uncrowned King of Scotland. He offered to become the King of England during the UK's economic crisis. He allegedly kept severed heads in his refrigerator. The movie about his life won Forrest Whitaker an Oscar. He's like a side character in a comedy movie who somehow got real power. B tier. Fidel Castro. The CIA tried to kill this man 634 times. They tried exploding cigars, a poisoned wetsuit, thallium in his shoes to make his beard fall out, LSD sprayed in his broadcasting studio. At one point, a CIA recruited assassin confessed that she'd been sent to kill him. Castro reportedly handed her his own pistol and said, "You can't kill me, nobody can kill me." He spoke at the United Nations for 4 hours and 29 minutes. The time limit was 15. After surviving 634 assassination attempts by the most powerful intelligence agency on Earth, Fidel Castro died of natural causes, in his bed, at age 90. S tier, Julius Caesar. He was 25 years old when he was kidnapped by pirates in the Mediterranean. They demanded a ransom of 20 talents of silver. Caesar laughed and told them to raise it to 50 because he was worth more. He spent 38 days with them. He read them poetry. He told them he would come back and crucify every single one of them. They thought he was joking. He wasn't. The moment the ransom was paid, he raised a fleet, hunted them down, and crucified them all. Fast forward 20 years. He crosses the Rubicon with his army, an act of war against the Roman Senate. The die is cast. He turns a republic into a dictatorship on charisma alone, and on March 15th, 44 BC, he walks into the Senate and is stabbed 23 times by his own allies. He looks up, sees Brutus holding a blade, and says the most famous last words in human history, "Et tu, Brute?" The month of July is named after him. 2,000 years later, his name is still a title: Caesar, Kaiser, Tsar. Every emperor who came after him was just trying to be him. God tier.